Welcome everyone, it's Favorite Trademark. It's time for some more Aveyond Expert Mode. Last time we started a really insane dragon quest, and we're doing an even more insane sleep dust quest that is going to take some time to accomplish. So these guys are much more of a hassle than the ones in There we go, we got the crit. I still don't feel we are strong enough to take on the true terror that's the come, because here's the deal. There is enemies in this game that are so sinister that gamers of the younger generation cannot even fathom these enemies. So, unless they've played Elden Ring, and then they'll fathom it. Unless they've played Elden Ring, they won't understand what these enemies are about. But yeah, there's enemies that bad in here. We just haven't we haven't got there yet. So I'm just afraid of these enemies, man. Like, there's still a problem occasionally. Not too much. This is, I've had times with those enemies, when they strike back, it hurts. Maybe not now, but okay, yeah, definitely if there was ever a time they're serious, but they're not that serious. They're not serious enough for me to warrant spending like a stupid amount of mana. Oh, that reminds me. I have to use that other spell. Well, we'll learn it when we go into the realm, as I call it. The realm. There we go. See, and then we can get some money from that. And you're like, why do we need this money? Well, there's a lot of really expensive gear. Battle of the Squirrels. These guys are so quick. Okay. So what we're going to want to do, believe this or not, we've got to provoke them. So what we got to do is got to go to Brumwich. And we've got to betray the squirrels. Like, I'm pretty sure I could use the other thing on them, but it's overkill. Using the heavier spells on them right now is overkill. So the main thing we gotta do so I just use Witch Dance on them. Something simple. Something that's gonna harm them a lot. Well, in a very simple way. So what we gotta do is we gotta go to the south. Gotta go to the south. And in the south. So we can unlock the next dungeon. In the meantime though, we're gonna be fighting these enemies old school. Reason? I don't feel like we're high enough level yet. We don't have the money to do what I'm... That's what I'm trying to acquire by attacking these enemies, is money. Because we don't have enough. So, gotta find a specific place. The militant squirrels. Alright. So what we do is we tattletale on the squirrels. Tray the squirrels, run this way, duel these thingies again, we do have to get more gold. I do have to do other dungeons as well, additional dungeons. I need XP and gold. Because the next area is extremely ominous and very difficult. The next mandatory dungeons. The other dungeon is not mandatory, but it's useful, is what's important. Useful. We will be doing the second game Aveyond Expert style, but not before I take my revenge on Elden Ring. I want to take my revenge on Elden Ring first before I do that, and some unfinished business on. Okay, yeah, they're panicking. Hold on, that proves. Come on, let me. The humans are attacking. You're squashing with the power of the nets. Okay. Got them to slow down. Dire swear fealty. They know that they've been betrayed. Swear fealty to the Rowan Alliance. Military operations. Go to war with all that opposes. General Banks give the humans one lashing for a stupid question. It's for us to know, you to find out. I need help take over the world. Battering ram. Okay. Cache of sleeping dust. Okay, so we unlock the sleeping dust. Get the sleeping dust and run with it because we need it. It's the only way to get the sleeping dust. Perfect. Need this money though. Because we're about to fight some very, very nasty enemies. If I can get that far. Which I'm praying that I can. Because the true length, the true test of skill is about to happen. This isn't it, by the way. Just want to point that part out. Dealing with the nemesises, the nemesi. So we need this. Okay, so what we're going to want, I'll fly over here. Cross the ocean, go through Mount Orion, thankfully with extra speed owing to speed shoes, which is why that quest was 100% worth it. Speed shoes and owing to speed shoes and the ability to one-shot enemies with basic attacks without the need for scrolls. So that's going to drastically increase our clear speed of this dungeon. However, that does not mean that we have anywhere near the gold that we actually need to clear the game. No, we need a lot more gold than that because the enemies are about to explode. Not these specific enemies, but there will be. We will get to them. There are enemies that look very much like them, but are much, much worse. We will need to do a hotel trip just before that point. We're going to use Theus for it. So, run this way, run up, run to the right, run in there. Yeah, we're going to want to go a different route. These enemies are not worth anything. Just want to point that out. So we want to go the alternative route. Here and around. Because the other way is just the way to the non-existent boss. Because once the boss dies and you save, the boss is gone. If you don't save, the boss can still respawn. Which we will eventually do all the bosses again on here. Maybe not on camera, but I'll eventually do this game again. When I'm going to do this game again? Well, when I want to do an even more masochistic playthrough. Expert, no game overs. Yes. Now, before you're asked, oh, is that masochistic? Yes. Answer is yes. Because not getting game overs on this mode is hard. Like, desperately hard. Like, as the game progresses, doing this no game overs becomes legendary hard. Like, I have to map everything out kind of hard. Like, it's hard to explain the level of difficulty spike if you have, you must not get a game over in order to actually win the whole thing. Go. Use the sleeping dust. You go to Mist and Far. I wish I could TP, but I can't, so I'm going to have to just zoom through here. I don't know how she instantly teleports here, but I'd love to know her spell to do it, because that would make this way more convenient than having to backtrack. If they implemented a fast travel system in here, that would make it way easier than to have to backtrack. Because a lot of what I have to do here, a lot of the hard part is backtracking. Literally backtracking through this, backtracking through that, backtrack through the dungeon, through, I don't know how many things I have to backtrack through. Backtrack through the entirety of the Nightmare Realm. Now, before you're like, Vaporsmith, why would you want to go to Theus before going into this Nightmare Realm? Well, I'll briefly show you the Nightmare Realm if we don't instantly die. Because the Nightmare Realm is a lot worse than you think it is. And you're about to see why. For those of you who haven't played this game before, which many of you haven't, you are in for a very unpleasant, crazy surprise coming up. When we get out of this wretched dungeon that we've beaten already, and doesn't have any enemies that are relevant anymore in it to us. Case in point. When Damien crits that for 700, you know it's not relevant. Yours. Boom shakalaka. Got him. We're getting these lightning scrolls. Get out. Cross the bridge. Run down. And around. Let's try to get out of this place. This way. Down. So, we are about to come to what is the most dangerous dungeon in Aveyond, or one of the most dangerous. One of the top 3 most dangerous dungeons that exists in this entire game. That's right. One of the most dangerous possible dungeons. But before we do that, we're going to land in Theus. Remember, this is expert Theus. This is not normal Theus. So what you see here is far more dangerous than normal Theus. This is as dangerous as it looks. So I have to be nimble. This inn is incredibly cheap. For what this place has to offer. Alright, so... Wait. She doesn't sell the lightning spell? Whoa. Okay, that's cruel. That's definitely cruel twist. That is definitely a surprise, even to me. Okay. I'm in shock. I know you're like, Papersmith, why are you shocked? You played this game, you know everything. This is not what happens in the normal version I play this game. Nope. We need at least 20 queso leaves. One more thing. We need at least one cloak of death. Now you're like, why on earth would you need this? Remember hell? Oh, that's almost nothing compared to where we're going. No, we're going into a realm so insanely evil that it is hard for you guys to even comprehend. And even better, the game doesn't have the lightning spell, so I don't even have that to nerf the pain of it. No. No. And we have to learn the Red Demon. And it may not even do the damage we need it to do. We may just die. Because where we're going is the most nightmarish area of all that we've ever visited. Now you're like, what could possibly be in this realm? Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, this realm has some of the worst possible enemies you can possibly imagine in it. And I can't even burn that other thing. $9,000 damage. That is the damage potential in this realm. You see that thing that looks like a crow? That thing can end your world. That green thing is an incredible evil. Uh-huh. this is actually worth to spend. Each one of these enemies, you see this damage. You see this. That could have been us. Do you see what I'm talking about now? If the confusion fails, we're dead. This is the realm we're talking about. The true nightmare realm. And we'll be covering it more in the next episode.